Hello and welcome. In today's video, I am going to be testing out the Lazy Girl method. I will be using Polygel and I'm going to be working on my non-dominant hand. We're also going to be reading some stories about lucid dreaming. If you don't know what lucid dreaming is, basically it is when you are asleep during a dream and you realize that you are dreaming. Some people do claim that they can control their dreams to a certain extent. Some do say it takes a little bit more practice. If you are interested in lucid dreaming, I definitely recommend doing some research on your own because it is extremely interesting. Now let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the stories. I had been interested in dreams ever since I could remember. Once I discovered lucid dreams, I was hooked. I attempted many times and repeatedly failed until one night when I wasn't even trying. I just remember being in the desert. Think Radiator Springs. Big orange mountains and clear skies. I was holding on to some random guy for dear life while I helplessly rode on the back of his dirt bike. We were thrashing around, hopping from mountaintop to mountaintop. In a weird way, the mountains almost seemed 2D, like a photo or a drawing. All the weirdness of it finally clicked when I whispered quietly to myself, "This is a dream. This can't be real." Next thing I know, the whole image fizzled out like breaking pieces of a puzzle, and I was jolted awake. I tried countless times to do it again, but could never get it right, until a few months later, of course on a night that I wasn't even trying. I don't remember too much of the background, except I was in a crowd of people. A bunch of people I had never met or seen before. They didn't make any gestures toward me, just kept about their business. I don't even think that they noticed I was standing right there. Something about it must have caught my attention because it began to click again. This was all just a dream. Unlike the first time, I said it a little bit louder. I wanted someone to hear me. This was a mistake, because out of the crowd, a man immediately froze and looked right at me. I repeated it louder and directly at him. "I'm dreaming right now." Before the last word left my lips, his face zoomed towards mine. Faster than the speed of light, we were eye to eye, but his face no longer looked human. It had grown and stretched until it looked like some emotionless mask, and it stood about a foot taller than me. I could no longer see anything else in front of me but this giant mask. I couldn't move or muster a single sound, because just like that, I was wide awake. I was definitely a little creeped out, but I haven't had an experience since. Okay, on to the next story. I spent about 3 hours this morning lucid dreaming. In one dream, I was hanging out with a guy and a girl. At one point, the guy left the room. Suddenly, the girl informed me that she knew she was a dream figure in my dream. She then had a full-on existential meltdown because she knew that the moment I woke up, she would cease to exist. I managed to calm her down, and she left. The guy came back and asked if she was okay. I explained what happened, and he was like, "Yeah, that bothers me too sometimes." I woke up, and it's been bugging me since. Somehow, I feel kind of bad about it. I was standing in the breakfast line in the kitchen of an assisted living that I worked in. Breakfast was going as normal until I thought to myself, how did I get to work today? I couldn't remember driving to work. I couldn't remember walking through the door. I didn't remember any of it. I went into the break room to see if everything looked normal. It did, but it didn't. I went into the front entryway of the assisted living. The menus I would post outside the dining room were there, and everything seemed normal with them. I couldn't put my finger on it. Something was wrong. I pulled my phone out of my pocket and called my husband. When he answered, I said, "Honey, please help me. I can't tell if I'm dreaming or not." He started talking to me about what was happening, and I didn't understand the words. I woke up disoriented and my heart was racing. Okay, into story number 4. Let me tell you about the first lucid dream I ever had. I was in a grocery store buying some food for the week. I noticed the mother was very drunk and banging her cart into the aisles. It was even more alarming that she had a baby with her. I followed her out of the store and watched her get into a van with the baby. All I could think to do was to get into the back of the van. I figured she would be too drunk to notice. I felt the car move, and I could see the grocery store get smaller and smaller through the back window as we left the parking lot. She got onto a familiar freeway and slammed on the gas. I felt the car's front 2 wheels lift up and the whole vehicle flipped and landed on its roof. I felt my head crush into the ground, and my last thoughts were, well, this is it, I guess. No way I can survive this. Then somehow, I was outside of the van, staring at the wreckage. I thought to myself, there's no way this is possible. How am I not hurt? How did I get out the van? Then the thought came to me like a ton of bricks. Holy, I'm dreaming right now. I immediately looked at the cars passing by, people going to work, going about their days. I looked up at the sky, and then down, and then back at the sky, and noticed the clouds shifting a little bit each time. I started running around. I was so excited, I wasn't sure what I should do. I looked at the grass, the trees. I picked up a fistful of dirt and watched it shift through my hands. The next moment, I found myself near a small pool of water. I jumped in. It was cold. I thought to myself, no, I want it to be warm. In that instant, the water was warm. I then spent the next few minutes jumping off small waterfalls into the next pool. Soon my vision began to darken, and I found myself awake in my bed. I immediately jumped out of bed and ran around the house. I was so happy and full of life. I had done it. For the past month, I had been trying to lucid dream, and it finally happened. It was definitely one of the best days of my life. Okay, I lucid dream quite a lot, but the second lucid dream I had was by far the weirdest one. This actually started as a regular dream. I was outside of my school, and my classmates and I thought it was a fire drill. We then all realized it was a real fire, and the fire started coming near us. We all began running towards the forest, and we ran through the woods, and we were all now at the edge of a lake. I then went right, and I somehow ended up in a parking lot. That was when my dream self was about to get shot. I don't know by who, and I don't know why, but you know how dreams go. Then out of nowhere, a guy saved me. It was an alien guy. The alien looked like Slender Man, and he would shift back into a human form. We talked for a bit. He asked me if I was scared of him, and I responded by saying no. We then went to a food place, but we left because some people in the dream were giving us dirty looks. Near the end of the dream, he told me that I was an interesting human. I gave him a confused look. He then told me that I was still dreaming. I remember giving him another confused look. This is when I realized that I was in fact dreaming. I realized I was dreaming for about 10 seconds, and then I woke up. Instead of me telling my dream character that I am dreaming, my dream character told me that I was dreaming. This event happened a few months ago. This is going to be the last story for today's video. Here is how the lucid dream went. I appeared in a cafe in the lucid dream, and there was some food on my table. I knew I was dreaming, so I decided to play around a bit. There were a few dream characters around who were giving me weird looks. I then got out of my chair and started walking onto the road. All of the cars, buses, and dream characters were avoiding me except for one. It was a tall, dark-haired man around my age who was also in the middle of the road. He just kept staring at me. I decided to be curious and started to walk towards him. He did the same as well. He seemed to be just as curious as I was. We were now only inches apart. I wondered what he would do if I told him that he was just a part of my subconsciousness and that I knew I was dreaming. So I did. I said, I am dreaming and you're just a part of my subconsciousness. He seemed shocked, like as if I just told him he was from Mars. Why are you shocked? I asked. No response. Are you really just a dream character? I asked. No, he said. Then what are you? I asked. No response. So you admit that you're just a part of my subconsciousness and that I am dreaming, I said. I was curious to hear his response, but a part of me knew there was something off about this dream character. No, you are, he responded in a confused, yet scared tone. I was shocked and I stared with fear. I started feeling dizzy, and I then woke up, sweating in real life. Okay, that will be it for today. I really did enjoy using the lazy girl method. I think there's a little bit of a learning curve as I used a little bit too much polygel. It just made it a little bit of a messy process. So next time I'll definitely have to take that into consideration. Overall, the nails were very sturdy and it made it very easy to do my opposite hand. So I definitely would recommend it. I thank you guys so much for joining me and I hope to see you for the next video. Have a great day or night and stay safe out there.